In 1981, San Diego opened America's first modern light rail system, with trams running through downtown streets and rocketing down to the Mexican border. While it was smaller than a metro, the San Diego Trolley was a fresh take on small electric trains, with wider stop spacing, higher speeds, and more grade separation than some of the last remaining first-generation trolleys, such as Boston's Green Line. Most commuters know the MBTA Green Line as a slower, localized service, with small trains, closely spaced stops, and many segments in street medians or even street running in traffic. But the station you see behind me does not look like your typical Green Line station. It's got a massive platform complex, it's a big park and ride, there's a huge yard behind me. This is a world away from the street side stops and small subway stations that one might expect of Boston's Green Line. In fact, we're not even close to those. Here are the 3 normal Boston Green Lines, and here is where we are. This is the D branch. Added to the network that would become the Green Line system in the late 1950s, it's almost completely grade separated, with higher speeds and wider stop spacing than most of the rest of the system. Come to think of it, it did a lot of what San Diego did in the 1980s, from reusing old heavy rail right-of-way to running a metro-esque service with smaller trams. So if San Diego built America's first modern light rail system, is the D branch the nation's first modern light rail line? The only way to find out is to go for a ride. We're beginning our trip at Riverside Station in the town of Newton. This terminus station has a 925-space parking lot, and it's also home to the Green Line's Riverside Yard. Now, if you look at this station on an overhead map, you'll notice something rather strange. The MBTA's Framingham-Worcester line passes just to the north, and there's still a track connection between the Green Line and the main line. Long ago, the commuter rail even had its own Riverside Station here, but that was closed many years ago. Hey, aren't you Sammy Marco from YouTube? How are you, Sammy Marco?
Good. Did you just do an intro?
I did.
Through the fare gates?
Look at him, talking to his camera in public. Our first train of the night is a Type 9 car built by CAF. Built between 2017 and 2019, these are currently the newest cars on the Green Line system, although longer Type 10s are hopefully coming next year. We step on board and begin our journey east, where our first leg will take us from here at Riverside down the line to Newton Highland Station. We pass a golf course and make our first stop at Woodland, home to some TOD and a bus connection to the MWRTA, which extends further west. The scenery we're passing through feels less like a T branch and more like something on the commuter rail, and that's exactly what this line once was. Long ago, this right-of-way was called the Highland Branch, and it was part of the Boston and Albany Railroad, which ran local passenger trains here. Grade crossings on the line were eliminated by 1907, and services were sometimes run as a loop line with the modern Worcester line to the north, hence the track connection at Riverside. Unfortunately, ridership on the system declined with time. After World War II, it was clear something had to be done, but we'll get to that in a moment. Newton Highland Station operated as a flag stop starting in 1852, and the dedicated station building was opened in 1897, though its designer sadly didn't live to see it open. Today, it's not open for passengers, but part of it is a periodontist's office. That's like a dentist for your gums. The modern platform is technically accessible thanks to interim upgrades, and the T has completed design work to improve accessibility, with plans for raised, extended platforms and accessible canopied routes down to the platforms. Unfortunately, right now this would only be possible if the branch was shut down over dozens of weekends, so the T is set to install crossover tracks to allow for single tracking on this portion of the branch, which will then allow one side of the station to be worked on at a time. According to a December 2025 report, crossover work should be done by late 2027, allowing accessibility work to begin. Wait, are you serious?
Look what I found just sitting here at the Charlie card machine.
You found a Metro card?
I found a Metro card. Well, I'm going to leave that there. That's hilarious. And here's our train. We're making videos.
Our next train, a Type 8 car from Ansaldo Breda, will take us down the line to Brookline Hills Station. We make our next stop at Newton Center, another station from the late 1800s that serves one of Greater Boston's many walkable downtowns. Unfortunately, we don't have time to see that tonight. Long before there were Green Line trains on the D branch, this right-of-way was eyed for rapid transit. In 1926, the Metropolitan District Commission proposed converting the city's streetcar subway to rapid transit and running trains down the Highland branch. By the late 1940s, the proposal became more detailed. Run rapid transit service down the branch with low-floor vehicles that could handle the streetcar subway. Now, doesn't that sound like light rail to you? In 1957, the state of Massachusetts authorized the MTA, the precursor of today's MBTA, to purchase the Highland branch. The last commuter trains ran in May 1958, and the MTA officially acquired the line in July for about $5 million in today's money. A short track connection was built between the Highland branch and the Beacon Street subway. Rather than converting it to a light metro, as originally planned, the MTA ran trains of PCCs on this line, as that was considered more economical. We passed the Chestnut Hill Reservoir and the Metropolitan Waterworks Museum, a former pumping station turned free museum that's unfortunately closed right now. At Reservoir, the next station, our track passes just steps away from Cleveland Circle on the C branch, and about 2 blocks away from Chestnut Hill Avenue on the B branch. We also passed the Reservoir Yard and Car House, complete with a Type 7 train set turned work train. A short while later, we make it to Brookline Hills. Take that, Chongqing. I think someone else is narrating on this platform. Anyways, we're at Brookline Hill Station, and fun fact, that is a high school.
How dare you steal my exact words, movements, words, everything.
This station was renovated for accessibility between 2019 and 2022, and it's partially straddled by a high school. Accessibility upgrades here included raised platforms, accessible crosswalks, and new canopies and wayfinding. There's also a park back there, which is pretty cool. Here's the bit of the station that's underneath the school. It's kind of echoey in here.
So this is the bit of the station that is underneath the school, and it's very echoey in here.
Hey, you're stealing my voiceover.
Hey, you stole mine, I get to steal yours.
Train 2, Riverside.
A train passes us without stopping. Moments later, another train arrives. This time, we're boarding the rear car, an older Type 7 from Kinkishario. These cars are high floor and not wheelchair accessible, so they always run paired with a Type 8 car to ensure every train is ADA compliant. So now we've seen that the D branch has a lot in common with systems like the San Diego Trolley. It has the speeds, equipment, and stop spacing of a modern light rail, and the same design considerations: more frequent train service than commuter rail, and lower costs than heavy metro. In so many ways, it's a precursor to the American light rail boom of the later 20th century. But it's also a product of its time. It used older streetcars when it opened. It was also planned based on an existing passenger line. It wasn't even the first heavy rail line turned interurban in Boston. The Mattapan Trolley was once heavy rail too. And the D line couldn't have been influenced by Germany's Stadtbahn mini-metro systems, which were major inspirations for the American light rail boom, because those weren't entirely a thing yet. If anything, the D branch was a prequel to the modern light rail era. See, German Stadtbahns and American light rails didn't invent urban rail transit from scratch. Instead, they adapted transit planning ideas for a new generation, the same ideas that built the D branch and the Green Line as a whole. I'm sure many of you watching are considering a career in transit, are already working in the field, or are involved in advocacy. Wherever you are, take some time to ride and study the transit that previous generations built, its successes and its failures, and how it could inspire how we move in the future. And maybe see if the past has any ideas for curing Sammy's hiccups as well.